Welcome to the League of Ordinary Geeks. I'm your host, Mahoney.
I'm Wellsman.
I'm Bauer.
And I'm Andrew.
Revenge of the Sith. We are finally out of the prequel saga. I am so happy to be out of the prequel saga. But can you agree that Revenge of the Sith is like the meme of all Star Wars films?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why we have a special guest. The meme lord himself. Returning again to the League of Ordinary Geeks. He's my friend and yours, all the way from London, George.
It's me again.
Hello.
Thanks, mate.
It's alright, mate. I'm the only one that claps.
Yeah,
I'm
cheers.
fucking dead. How's it been, George? Did you have a nice Christmas?
I did, mate. You could say it was very Christmassy. I ain't got a decent Star Wars pun, so let's just leave it there.
Life
Yes, I did.
It's a trap.
Life Day. You could have said that.
Yeah. Do you know what? The only reason is I was very excited for this one because this is the only one I actually ever want to talk about.
You said this is like this.
Seriously, this is like my main. This is my main girl. And also, like I did tell you, it was on Sky. So
It was on Sky.
Fully
Yeah.
reimbursed.
It's funny because you say that. This came out in 2005. This is probably the Star Wars film I've seen the least.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it tons.
Same.
Like, I've
Same,
replayed it.
I saw it loads.
Yeah.
No, because I saw episode 1 and 2 multiple times in the cinema. I think this is the one Star Wars film I rated to come out on DVD, and I think I saw it once. I thought, well, that's it.
Was you saw it in the cinema and then you?
No, I didn't even see it within the cinema. How old were we? Like 12, 13?
12, literally.
Yeah.
I think I was probably chasing girls
To be fair,
at that
I think
time.
the first time I think I got the DVD is because I really wanted to play the Battlefront 2 demo that came with it. But then I was like, oh, might as well watch it.
I think that might have been it. I think I got the game on GameCube. So I played the game before watching the film, and I thought,
God.
oh, I've seen it now. I played it.
Yeah. That game. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I literally saw it when it came out,
Wow.
and then I saw it 3 times afterwards, and then I waited for ages. I got like the PS2 game
Yeah.
Yeah.
came out, and I played the fuck out of it.
Yeah,
Same.
same.
I love that game.
Yeah, and then I got like Battlefront 2 with all the new maps. And stuff.
Yeah.
So I was fairly obsessed.
2005. Should we go down memory lane?
Do we have
You
to?
can try.
What year was school were in? Well, we weren't even in high school yet, were we?
I think it was the last. We would have been in year 7 in primary school.
Year 7.
Yeah,
We were
That's
in
bad.
school.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
bad. Full of spots.
That's finally when I got cool. And then I started watching Star Wars 5 times a night.
So, what do you think was the number 1 single in Britain in May 2005?
Is it like Flow Rider?
No.
All right.
I have no freaking clue. Was it
Not clear.
some sort of busted on McFly?
Some sort of bastard on
Some
the
sort
fly.
of back in my day.
No, what's in that? Bauer?
No fucking clue, mate.
It was Acorn. Lonely.
Oh my god.
Oh my Christ, I
Really?
remember that now.
Remember that's
I can actually
Wow.
hear that screechy voice in my head.
What was Lonely?
Lonely.
I'm so lonely.
I think that was the era where they took every female voice and dialed it up to Mickey Mouse level.
Yeah,
I think that's
auto
just
tuning.
I mean, that's just what they play in the cinema as you're like walking to see the film.
What do you think was the top news story of May 2005?
Lonely by 8.
Everyone suddenly feels lonely.
Tony Blair was re-elected for the 3rd term.
Third term.
His 3rd term as British Prime Minister.
Politics.
And also, do you know what happened in the football that year?
2005.
Yeah.
No.
Liverpool won Champions League. Finally.
Yep. Liverpool historic comeback against AC Milan. 3-0 down at half-time to come back 3-all to win the Champions League.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's my
it's
best. Like,
2005.
yeah. And the last one. Which film won Best Picture of 2005?
Star Wars.
It was definitely not this film.
Is it like a superhero film? Or is
No.
it?
2005, I'm trying to think what the hits
I'll give
were.
you a clue.
Oh, wait, Lord of the Rings, Return
No.
of the King, was that 04?
I think that's 04.
Spider-Man 2.
No.
Harry Potter.
No.
I like how you literally just said it's not a Spider-Man.
That's not a superhero film.
Spider-Man!
That's it. It was $1 Million Baby.
Ah, bullshit.
It's a good film.
Never seen it.
No,
It's the one directed by Clint Eastwood about the female boxer.
Yeah, don't you shit on Clint
Star
Eastwood.
No.
We don't talk shit on Clint Eastwood on this podcast.
you seen that film where he's like a drug mule?
Yeah, The Meal.
That's so boring.
Oh, such a good film.
I haven't seen it
Never
yet,
seen
but
it.
I
Really
haven't
good
heard
film.
anything
It's so
amazing.
boring.
Speaking of not boring, did you like that segue? Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3. Do you know why it's called Revenge of the Sith?
No.
God, so
They don't have
so
revenge.
revenge
I'm not
on the
going to lie
Jedi.
to you, right? I had this on in like when I was watching it, and my mum literally was like, "What's a Sith? Why are they revenging?" And it was really annoying. After all the times I've seen it, I couldn't be like, "This is the answer." So please do this, and I'll relay this to my mum.
Episode 6, the original title was going to be Revenge of the Jedi. But with I think it was 2 months before the release date, George Lucas had a change of heart and thought, Revenge sounds too menacing. So he changed it to Return of the Jedi. So this is kind of a callback to Episode 6, to Revenge of the Sith.
I guess it makes sense though, because the Sith does get its revenge on the Jedi, if you think about it.
Exactly that.
Well, singular.
One single Sith, yeah.
Yeah.
The Revenge of Palpatine.
Very much, it should have been that.
Revenge
really.
of the Senate.
So, as always, let's rewatched it all today.
Yesterday.
You
Yes,
watched it
yesterday.
yesterday. You've got it in your memory banks, George.
Yeah, there's
You're
there's no need for me.
You're living play-by-play of that film.
It's so quotable.
Shall we start off with everyone's favourite scene? George, as our guest.
Oh no, don't pick me first.
You're the guest, mate.
Okay, my favourite scene. I really like the first introduction of Grievous. Not when he's talking to anybody, but when he actually shows himself and he's coughing and then he's actually talking. Do you know what? I feel I love Grievous, but he is so wasted in that film.
He is, definitely. Yeah.
And every time he's on screen, it does it really cool. Apart from when Obi-Wan takes his bra off or something.
I know.
Oh, he's like,
Yeah.
exposes his heart.
And I do very much.
That's what you call tits.
And I do really like the part where just Palpatine's talking about oh, your friends, and it's the actual Order 66 thing.
Yeah,
All
no.
the montage.
Execute Order
Yeah.
66.
So those two probably. I like Grievous.
We'll get into Grievous.
So basically, your
Quite
opinion is null and void.
I was going to say that sounded like you're about to take a giant steaming shit.
Bauer?
I love the scene where they're at this. I don't know what it is. What Palpatine's watching. And
The opera.
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
this water opera or whatever it was. I love that scene. Just going over basically twisting his mind up basically with I've got the power to bring back your loved one.
I think that is a lot of the general audience's favourite scene, but I got to side with Bao. It's so rewatchable. It's one of the best
He
scenes.
does
in
it
the
so
movie.
well.
Yeah.
It's just Palpatine in that film. It's just
And it just makes me
unbelievable.
want to play this movie, frankly. But there we go.
It's so funky because I swear for half an hour of this film it's just people walking and talking. After the introduction battle where Dooku dies, it's just half an hour of people just sitting and talking or walking and talking. It's funky how this scene is the best. How it's the same director, Lucas, but he took that one scene and he was able to do a great explanation piece.
Yeah.
And have to tell a fantasy within a fantasy. Really
I mean, Chris,
well done.
Yeah.
I can tell you how good that scene is because he mentions metachlorians, and everyone's like, oh, "Fuck that! It's great." Anyway, who cares?
Yeah, no. But no, I think I'm going to side with you. I think that's my favourite scene as well.
I think so. Yeah. It's
Such
the most powerful scene anyway in that film, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just
no.
it's
I think it's
hits a
like
punch, doesn't it?
The
really?
only part of Hayden Christensen I can stand.
Yeah.
What, where he doesn't talk. Yeah.
just shut up and listen. It's yeah, exactly. Andrew, your favourite scene?
The final battle between Obi and Anakin. I
That's
just
right,
love that battle.
I would call that one.
It's so well choreographed, and at the end where he cuts off his legs and his arm, it's the emotion in Obi's voice.
I forgot how grim it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they pushed that 12 rating in that scene, I would say, quite a fair bit. I mean, he starts burning, he's like, oh, I'm just going to watch.
And the screaming as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I think that was his best acting.
You're not wrong. You're actually not wrong, man.
Can I also add a very cool scene is when they're actually rebuilding him.
Oh,
Darth
that's
Vader
oh,
is
yeah.
screaming on the
that was
table.
grim as well. Yeah. Should we get into what we liked about it?
I got a long list.
Andrew, you go first then.
Yay!
Because your list is obviously longer than mine.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, most of you guys don't even like this one. This is like my favourite one.
I feel like, well, yeah,
Out of the trilogy of prequels, this is my
It's the
favourite.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
the best.
it's the best one.
Yeah.
Fuck me, you knocked it out of the park with the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, two films to fucking ease yourself in. Yeah, but that's like saying, oh, the third one's the best one. It's almost like saying it's not as bad as the other two.
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
yeah,
Andrew,
yeah.
we're talking about the good.
Well, let's start in the beginning, and we will start with the beginning. Where the beginning scene, it starts off, two ships flying in. It's like nice and peaceful. Go over a ship, straight into the middle of a battle.
Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic.
That was really
Battle
good.
over Coruscant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that
really
was
good.
absolutely fantastic.
And frankly, the last two, politics. As soon as we get in, at least this time they're like, all right, give them what they want.
Yeah,
Yes.
straight in.
Yeah, I thought. Well, I mean, there are a few bad points to it, but it's like you see the droids come in, the buzz droids and the
I like those buzz
vulture
droids.
droids.
Yeah.
I thought they were fantastic as well.
Yeah, I like
Especially the buzz droids, taking apart the ship.
that. Yeah.
I thought it was funny, especially when was it R4's head falls
Yeah.
off.
Well, because Obi-Wan's like, be careful, R4. It's like, and then it's like the head's just like, he's like, uh-oh.
Literally the next
You
frame.
can tell he was really attached to that fucking unit.
Yeah, that's one of my good points.
Want to give us another?
Actually, I think I'm going to you too, the vultures droids. I thought still around that scene when they got onto Grievous's ship, Obi-Wan's entrance from the his ship, literally
What, flipping out?
ejects out,
Yeah.
flips out, takes out droids. I thought that was great. But then
There's
there's Anakin just like,
climbing out.
yeah, it's like Anakin, do something cool.
Yeah.
But no.
I feel like we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum with that opening scene.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought
What, with the space battle?
the space battle and when they got onto the ship as well.
Wow.
I thought it was just so weightless and so boring. The actors looked bored as well. Granted, they're in a plastic ship around a blue screen. It's revolutionary. Not many actors have done that yet. But they just look. They don't know what they're doing.
So
But then James Bond inject a seat out of the ship, and there's about 30 droids around them, and just cut them up like butter. There's no rate and there's no risk to it. I understand why, to make them look badass for the fight against Dooku, and the whole lead up towards freeing Palpatine. I just thought it was just, like I said, it felt weightless. The actors looked bored. I found it really hard to invest in that whole opening bit.
But you
so
compare
if they're-
that to
if
the
they're
politics.
going in. Sorry, no. If they're going in, if say they're coming into that thing, into the hangar basically, and they shot like a few bombs or something like that and blew up the droids and then done like a flip out, would that make it better for you? I guess?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
No, I personally I think is that how they set that film up is they've got the two best people going for it, and it is really easy for them, like trying to fight through, and it's immediate like, oh, we have to take down the shield barrier, and they go straight in and they take it like there's nothing wrong, and as well like it's the complete beginning. I'm personally like all the way through it. I'm not looking at them acting. I'm looking at all the stuff around them, stuff that they're trying to get into. I mean, we've all kind of agreed that Hayden's not exactly.
I thought in this film when Hayden's not talking, he does a good
Hayden's
job.
only good at acting when he's evil.
Yeah,
I
no.
think
His eyes actually do a really good job
When
of
he's
conveying.
when he's reacting off others.
when
does a
he's
really
good,
job.
he just doesn't have any enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And then when he's evil, it's like, well, you can't really have any enthusiasm. You're killing people.
Playing to his strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
This is the one where he has the longest hair. Just saying.
IMDb.
Just in case you're blind while you're watching this film, he's got long hair.
Any good points, Roseman?
Yeah. Well, going off that hangar scene, I actually thought the R2 fight against those two droids were actually quite fun.
Yes.
Like it was kind of creative. I know. I mean, I do wonder why he's just got a reserve of random lubricant on him at all times. But yeah, I thought that was quite fun. I liked how R2 played more of a key role in like playing around with the elevator and a little bit of comic relief But it was, I thought that was quite a nice scene.
So he's sticking to your comic relief, it's like when he gets kicked.
Yeah,
He gets
yeah,
kicked
you know.
and I just love his scream.
And also the Yoda versus Sidious fight. Gotta love it, really. I mean, little.
I personally think that's the best fight in the entire film.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of force. I do like the.
I appreciate the Obi-Wan fight, but I was always, all the way through that, I'm just constantly like, are they just going to actually do something? It always seemed like, we'll hit something, and now we'll jump here, and then we'll hit each other, and now we'll jump here. And I was like, I couldn't get invested.
Really?
But with the Sidious fight, it seems like a lot of that. It's very obvious that Yoda's more powerful than him. And then when it comes to the thing, I'm like, oh no, I'm literally going to lob all these elevators at you. I was like, fuck, this is sick.
To be fair, you look at the fear in Sidious's face, like, okay, I've met my match.
Especially like when the lightning and then he like channels it and then it like blasts both of them back. Like, we'll get into the bad points. I agree.
I thought the best. I actually put down there are no good lightsaber fights in this film.
Really?
Dude.
Yeah, no. I did not
Tough
like
fight,
any
tough
of the
fight.
lightsaber. I know, I'm a miserable bastard
You really are.
during this film.
You definitely grew up.
I grew up at this point.
Bauer, any good points?
I love Grievous's bodyguards, like bodyguard droids. I absolutely love them.
Oh, with the
oh,
electric stand.
oh my god,
Yeah.
no, droid news!
Oh, God.
Right,
Show me
okay.
some
Roger.
Roger, Roger.
George, I don't know if you know,
What?
I have a mad love for droids in the Star Wars universe. And for every single Star Wars film, we go to droid news and talk about the new droids.
Did we have a droid news in the last one?
We did when we talked about the B2.
That's very true.
So the new droids in this film was Grievous's henchmen.
Yeah.
They were sick.
They're great.
Yeah.
They were
So
so
Pretty good.
I love them.
I like the way they held up their own more than fucking Dooku did.
Yeah. Well, it's like when
Pretty much,
Obi
yeah.
cuts one of the heads off and it's
Yeah.
still going.
It's still
yeah.
going, man.
Yeah, I thought that was funny as hell.
It's a
But
T-800 of droid.
I love their
Yeah.
little cake thing they have as well. It's
Yeah.
just like they distinguish themselves against like other droids, if you know what I mean. So it's.
Do you know in the art department they originally created those droids to be Grievous,
Oh, really?
and then the idea was that no, they look too droid-like. They've got to be a type of beast/human/droid.
Yeah.
And then that's when they took another Grievous design, and then George Lucas wanted those two droids because they were his favourite out of the first original concept.
I never knew. Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
fact.
That's
IMDb, you.
There we go.
George's fact of the day?
Yeah.
back ever.
George news.
Sticking to droid news, I hate my. What did they do to my battle droids?
They're shit in this
The,
one.
the,
Yeah.
when
They
the
are
ship's
shit.
going down and they're literally running away.
They're so like
Why-
comic relief.
Oh
in this one,
no,
aren't they?
they are fucking terrible.
But George, he always needs to get a comic relief in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
As I said, I mean, he did it with R2. It was all right. Like it was understandable.
Because that played to R2's strength.
Yeah.
A little bit because he's always had that side to him and C-3PO.
As well, R2, it's constant. He has noises. In this
Yeah.
one, they're speaking,
Oh,
and it's
God,
just
I can't stand
like I get it. It's kind of like when the droid gives the lightsabers to Grievous, and he's like, "Oh, you're welcome." It's like, I didn't really need that. and then when like the kind of when they're on Utapau, and Obi-Wan calls the thing he's riding, and it jumps
Oh,
out, and he's
yeah.
like, "Oh, it's like you didn't need
You
that."
know,
really.
Yeah,
not
exactly,
at all.
yeah.
I liked it. It worked in the first one because they never embarrassed themselves in Phantom Menace. They were very like efficient. Like Roger, yes, you shouldn't be here.
You're under arrest.
To be fair, I mean,
Arrest, yeah.
the theme was slightly less adult in the first one, so I think it's more. You can be more forgiving. But in this one, they're trying to go for that serious, dark theme. It's like, then why'd you put this in?
Exactly
You know?
that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for droid news. So my good points of the film. Let me just get out the post-it note.
Only one.
Yeah, mate. I thought the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme was massively improved.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
agree.
Yeah.
I would agree because I felt like, I think that's the only thing I would rate during the whole beginning bit. They actually, Obi-Wan and Anakin felt like a team, a partnership. They weren't exactly squabbling.
No.
They're playing to each other's strengths. And I love the bit, one of my favourite bits, and it's credit to Hayden Christensen's acting as well, when Padme announces that she's pregnant. In that split, 3 seconds, you can read about 5 different emotions
Yeah, you can, yeah.
on his face, from joy, happiness to fear, disappointed, worried, back to happiness and reassuring. I thought the relationship was really was strengthened, but fuck me, that script is still bad.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it proves, and it's a shame that Hayden Christensen hasn't really got any massive set roles since, because he's clearly got the acting chops.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been given the right script yet.
No.
I think.
Like when Padme's on the balcony and he's like, something like, oh, but I'm so in love with you.
Oh god, yeah. Well, it was another awkward. I was just like, stop.
So love has blinded you.
Yeah. No, it's because I'm so in love with you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, shut up. just don't talk.
Just
stare.
smile and wave. Smile and wave.
Jump!
Any other good points, Andrew?
Yeah. Some of the Palpatine's lines.
Oh.
It's like where he's fighting, it's like, yeah! And of course you've got the typical, do it.
Can we talk about the meme lord Palpatine?
Yes, please. Let's.
He is the best thing in this film.
Yes.
I absolutely
Some
love
of his
it.
facial
Yeah.
expressions
Yeah.
during that Mace Windu
I know.
fight.
Oh.
The one where it like literally stays on him for 3 seconds.
3 seconds too long and he goes, he kind of thrusts
Yeah,
it
yeah.
forward like,
To be fair, you could just make a compilation with porn noises and his facial expressions would be spot on. And then at the end, he just looks so wasted when he's done the electricity. It's like, oh god, I'm spent.
oh.
doing thrust of the lightsaber, and then cut to a woman like, and then again,
But I like the way Palpatine. At the same time, though, Anakin's a fucking idiot.
pretty much.
Palpatine.
We always do that.
I know, but Palpatine's manipulating him.
Yeah.
With like when Obi-Wan's trapped underneath the railing, he's like, "Leave him. We gotta go. We gotta go
We've
now."
got no time.
Yeah.
You're the one talking.
No. It's like I'm right here. And when I love the whole Darth Plagueis the Wise tragedy story.
Yeah.
But if I was Anakin Skywalker, I'd be turning around like, why do you know so much?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know it's like, oh, so I know my enemies better. I was like, yeah, but you know way too much.
My mentor told me about this.
Who's your mentor?
Down.
Does everyone have a favourite Palpatine moment?
I think it's the facial expressions again.
What, funny or something where I can appreciate it?
No, funny.
Seriously, when he's just like, no.
That's my favourite.
That's
Someone put it on like a meme page the other day. It's like when someone tells me to get out my seat. No, you went.
Andrew, favourite Palpatine?
Oh, with George is that one.
Oh yeah, I gotta agree with George. It's like they've just told him in a nursing home to just go to bed, go to bed, Palpatine.
I think a close second is though is like when Anakin's holding the lightsabers against Dooku's neck, and he's like, "Kill him!" And then, he's like, "Kill him!" And then he's like, "I shouldn't. I don't kill." And he's like, "Do it." It's his voice just changes.
He's got like that
Do
split
it.
personality. I think that's what they were trying to go for. But he
Pretty
just,
much.
with the voice, he sounds like he's doing a Batman impression.
No, it's very good. It's very good, but at the same time, if I was Anakin, it's like, why did your voice change?
And it's you know when Mace Windu and that go to arrest him, and he's there like, "Oh, Mr. Windu, how are you doing today? What brings you here?" And then it's like, "You're under arrest by the Galactic blah 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 blah." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." It's just like like that weird spinny thing.
I am the son of... He does his corkscrew attack.
The amount of games they've tried to get that corkscrew attack in there.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
This doesn't help.
This is not an effective way to jump.
It's the first time Palpatine's ever jumped. It's like it's going down a slide.
I think my other favourite moment is Order 66.
Yeah.
I forgot how fucking grim that whole scene is.
It's
Yeah.
really.
It's
They
so-
really did a good
Especially if you've watched the Clone Wars TV series as well. and
Oh,
you
we're
get-
bringing that back on.
No, well, yeah, of course, because it's a good show. And because in the Clone Wars, you get to know all the different clones, like Captain Rex and Cody, and so you know their personalities, but you also know the Jedi's as well, like Kid Fisto, Plow Koon, El Monday, the one with the giant forehead. So you get to know their personalities.
That's Kit Fisto, isn't it?
No, Kit Fisto's the octopus squid one, the green one.
I thought that was Plo Koon.
No, Plo Koon's the one
Oh
with
no,
the
Plo
head.
Koon's the one with
The one with the head.
What's he called?
Plo Koon.
No,
No,
before
the
that.
one with the big head is
Kit
Ki Adi Mundi.
Q Mundi, that's it.
There you go.
Fist.
Kit Fisto's the
Kit.
one with like.
Fist.
Kit.
Kit. Right. Okay. So
Like I forgot my kit.
It's first.
Yeah.
Fist up.
So, but, so you get to know those Jedi a lot more with their personalities all fleshed out. So it's even more tragic just to see him gunned down in this. They don't even get a line in.
No, so what did you guys think about all the Jedi's dying? I thought
Cool.
I thought some of the acting was terrible. It's like what's it? The woman who gets shot in the back.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought-
with the.
What's like
that was a
spins?
Twiglet, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
How she falls, I think that is just
Yeah,
terrible.
that's-
That's like Premier League quality, don't
Sterling.
I thought, I forgot how grim and sad.
The
really.
cool. I
Yeah.
think the cool bit out of that scene is when Organa comes back and the clones tell him to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like that woman
What, that
comes
kid?
out. And,
Yeah, and then
Oh,
the,
yeah,
and
the
the
girl
14-year-old
comes
kid. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
comes
thought it was
out.
nice they gave a youngling some proper action. It was only a short, but it was. I thought it was pretty good.
Are we getting onto the bad points?
Any other good points at all?
I liked the like lizard thing that Obi-Wan was riding. I love that. It's just it's something simple, but I actually loved it. It's
What's
It's
it
the,
called?
the noises it makes
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
sticking with that scene, I quite like the sort of like donut rider speed.
Yeah,
That's
Grievous
what.
is
yeah.
bike.
The one with the legs,
With the
like,
legs,
pushing
yeah.
out everyone out of the way.
I thought that was genius.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Well, once again, I hate to go for, back to Battlefront 2, but like they had all those vehicles and they were so iconic when you
Yeah.
played them as well.
Yeah.
That's so great.
I feel like in this film, nothing picked up until Order 66. No, maybe a bit before, during the whole when Mace Windu
No,
And the Plagueis
confronted-
conversation.
and the Plagueis conversation that picked up.
I thought personally, knowing like Anakin goes to Yoda for help,
Behind
and
Yoda's
Yoda is a prick.
backhand.
In that-
Yoda's
in that
a prick
film.
throughout this whole
In that
trilogy.
film.
Yeah.
In that scene, he's just like, which is to be fair to Anakin, it's a completely legitimate thing. Like, I'm actually quite worried about my missus dying.
I'm quite worried about these visions
Yeah.
I'm having.
Yeah, like it happened to my mum. I think it's going to happen to my wife. And Yoda's just like, just shouldn't care about it. You know,
Yeah.
just get over it.
Fuck you and your feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Yoda, just because no one went out to you.
I just wish, because like they played it really well with Mace Windu constantly backslapping compliments to Anakin. You know, you're not the Jedi Master, but you do have a seat on the council. You do, but you're not Jedi Master. Oh, you've brought me some useful information that Palpatine's a Sith Lord. Oh,
And then he says he trusts him.
yeah, and he's like, I don't trust. Yeah, I trust you, but I think you're a bit confused, so I'll go myself.
No,
Yeah,
that's
but
not
it was
true.
like the most
Yeah.
logical
He says-
person there.
He says that he won't. He's going to be too powerful, and it will be safer for you to be there.
Yeah, so yeah,
Well, because
okay,
he
so-
understood that he was being manipulated. I guess,
Yeah,
right? So-
maybe,
so-
yeah. But then it works really well when Palpatine is shooting at Mace Windu and he's deflecting it back.
Yeah.
Palpatine's like, it's killing me!
Why don't stop? I don't get why he doesn't stop. My own thunder.
Literally, like, stop hitting yourself.
He is a traitor.
I'm weak! I guess the whole point I'm trying to make is, I wish they played it more in the Attack of the Clones that Mace Windu kept denying Anakin Skywalker,
Yeah.
because that scene would have had a lot more levels to it between the character interactions of Mace Windu and Anakin Skywalker.
They should have just been Skyping or something.
Yeah, but if you think about it, in the councils, Anakin would do his little tantrum thing. They're like,
Yeah.
what? It's like that stupid little thing, and then Mace Windu would be like, just look at him like, why are you being such a twat? Just listen to what we're saying,
motherfucker.
and then you actually will be on the fucking council.
To be fair, even Obi-Wan says, like, patience
Yeah.
will lead you, and he's like, no.
yeah, exactly.
Even though he agrees with Obi-Wan in that particular scene.
Speaking of patience and time, what is the time frame of this film?
I
Is it a
don't know.
couple of days?
I don't know.
It does seem that a lot happens.
A lot happens in a couple of days.
But I think that's supposed to be because of the war campaign on each planet. you're not exactly told how long the campaign is for.
No.
Because it does seem like at one point like Yoda's planning like a raid on Kashyyyk, and then immediately it's like, oh, they're coming. You know, it's like,
If you think about it though, the time frame I guess is Padme because she's like, I'm pregnant, and then she has
yeah,
kids
like
at the end.
8, 9
so,
months. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess
it
that's
really
the time
doesn't
frame.
seem like
Doesn't-
that.
they
They
don't
didn't space
establish
it out
that
at all.
really,
No.
no.
Maybe that's why they've had like obviously Padme pregnant, like and then they was like, oh, you know what, that'll be our time frame. They can get the gist.
Maybe
of
they
it,
have like
probably.
baby speeding supplements in the future. Like I
Baby
say, like,
people, yeah,
2
they
days,
They
half
give
an hour a
birth
day.
differently
Yeah.
in Star
Well,
Wars.
they are from Naboo.
To be fair, you could say like, oh, why don't they just put on like an 8 years later or something? But they've never done
never done that
in
in
any
Star Wars, no.
film. No, yeah, if you think about with the baby stuff, that's a good argument. But I know what you mean. It does seem like there's a lot of chats that have happened in a day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Have you got an appointment?
Literally, an empire fell and one rose in one day, and Padme gave birth to twins, and announced them at the same day. If
And
he died, yeah, died. If this was Facebook, our newsfeed would be fucking over the place. So, should we move on to Question Master?
I got
Yeah.
one more
Oh,
good point, if that's
sorry,
okay.
sorry,
with you.
Yeah, we're
sorry.
loving it.
So just one more, which was Palpatine's manipulation throughout the film. I thought that was just pure Palpatine.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the strongest part of Hayden
Definitely.
Christensen's performance in that entire film, because there's parts where he's trying to speak to Padme and say, "We're going to be stronger. I'm going to make this better." And then, because in a way, you can kind of see where he's coming from. Because in a
Yeah.
way, like he's getting held back by the Jedi. Nobody's helping him out. And then he's got Padme being like, "Oh, you've got to sort this out." And he's like, "Oh, I can. No, you shouldn't be doing it that way." What the fuck?
What do you want from me, woman?
Yeah. Tree for it.
No, I do agree. Like we said before, Palpatine himself, the Mean Lord, is the best thing about this film. His level of manipulation, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis. Do you think he kind of came across too soon?
What, Palpatine?
Yeah.
Well, he
Well,
No, I don't
no,
think
because
so.
to be fair, for the entire prequels, you're already kind of supposed to know that it's Palpatine.
So it's not meant to come as a big shock.
Yeah,
no.
don't get me wrong. Like they never mention it in public. No, nobody does.
To be fair, yeah, we were all waiting for that moment.
I think the
Yeah.
problem is we were kids, and we were like, I don't know, but maybe if you're a bit older, you'd be like,
Oh, you would have sussed
Darth
out, like,
Sidious. Yeah.
every time you see the hologram, you just see the actor's face. You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wait a minute.
It must be. I think I wrote that down. It must be a ball ache being Palpatine delivering 2 messages for like 2 teams. He must have he must have a black cloak for like every legend. It's like the Mrs. Doubtfire scene.
Yeah.
Constantly running back again. Change.
do you reckon he has like 5 shots of whiskey? He's like, oh, okay,
I want to see a parody now of Palpatine doing the Mrs. Doubtfire at the restaurant. Keep nipping back and doing costume changes.
Surely Robot Chicken's done that. Like,
Surely,
they're
some
missing
must
out.
have.
on
Right. Question Master?
Do it.
Do it.
So, what questions do we have for Revenge of the Sith?
I think George should go first.
Okay, when Yoda turns up to fight Darth Sidious, why does the guy just leave?
Yeah, oh yeah, that weird blue guy.
Nope. He doesn't even. I mean, I don't even know if there's a part where he says "leave us" or something.
He does.
He's just like, oh, but
I think he does.
No, he
actually.
says it to someone else.
Ah, does it? Ah,
It's
right.
so because obviously Yoda's just been smacked on the floor like the most powerful Jedi, and he's just like, okay, yeah, leaving. I'm going. I finish at 5.
Yeah, I got some paperwork to do. It's Christmas.
I do remember watching that even as a kid. I was like, what if he needs help? And then literally the next second, it's Sidious getting thrown over the room.
Oh yeah, over the desk on the chair.
that one always cracks me up as
Oh,
well.
that
It's like
still
this
makes me
force
laugh.
of power, and he's just
Do you
like, furniture.
Do you reckon that was
Just
actually
rolling on the floor like.
Do you reckon that was actually Ian McDermott?
I think that was even McDermott on an off day. They caught it on camera.
They're like,
by
Ian, you sure you
accident.
want to do this stuff? Yeah. I'm convinced.
He just went to sit down on the seat, just like.
Oh, we'll
That's
use
him.
that. My question is, when Palpatine's like, no, no, and then he shoots the lightning, but then Mace Windu reflects it back. Obviously, didn't learn a lot because he did it again in Episode 9. But and then his face starts to melt.
Yeah.
Is that Darth Sidious's true form, or is that the scars from the lightning?
I think that's the Sith mask. No, yeah, because apparently the idea is that through his levels of the Force, he can keep a mask over him,
kind of manipulate
and
people's
then
perception.
when the lightning hits it, that will take away all that.
So it kind of reveals his true form.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the lightning that was just destroying.
I gotta admit, I thought so.
It looks like it's burned stuff.
But is it kind of like Voldemort then, in the sense that the more power he gains, the more it affects his...
Yeah.
The canon's supposed to be that if you're a Sith, it's supposed to affect you mentally as well as physically.
Right.
And it'll hit you, and obviously, that's why all the Siths kind of look a bit fucked up. Apart from
the Siths are throwing shit at the
apart from Tyrannus, because he only uses the dark side as a way of knowledge rather than a way of.
And he was Plagueis's. Was he Plagueis's master?
No, what Tyrannus?
Yeah.
No, Tyrannus is Sidious's. Oh my god, I thought Tyrannus is Qui-Gon's master.
That's Dooku.
That was Dooku.
Ooh, yeah, Darth Tyrannus. That's kind
Oh,
of.
sorry.
Right. Oh, sorry.
We knew that!
Gonna bring out my Star Wars bounty hunter knowledge here.
Yes,
Fantastic.
Any other questions? Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, Oswald. No, go for it.
No, sorry. No? Okay, Andrew.
All right. When Anakin arrives, when Windu and Palp are in their situation.
Palp to you.
Yeah, Palp. Yeah, call him Palp. We're
Palp,
buddies,
Palp.
you know.
Big pal.
Yeah, big Palp. Yeah.
How long did it take you to get that in there?
Big pal.
Yeah. When Anakin's running in, why would you just go to a fast walk? You keep running.
What's
What? When Anakin arrives and Windu's obviously got Palpatine pinned, it's just like he runs in from his ship and then he gets there. He just goes to a fast walk. Why would you go to a fast walk? And
Looks more presentable, I guess. No, I don't know.
you got Windu pointing a lightsaber at Palpatine. Why would you think? Oh, I better be proper about this. Hello,
He's
gentlemen.
supposed to be evil, isn't it? Wouldn't be very good if he ran in going, ah, ah!
I don't know, I think that would be more believable, to be honest. But...
Oh, you got him!
Andrew, I respect your opinion, because if the world is full of criticism, the world will be a boring place. But in episode 2, you specifically hated the way that Anakin reversed the car. Now, you specifically hate the way Anakin walks in this film. It's bad acting. Andrew, never be a film critic. 4 out of 5 out of 10. I do like the way you speed walk.
That's the only thing.
It's a poor power walk.
Can I add on to that though? It's like it's when Anakin's gonna when he's like, don't kill him, I need him, but then why doesn't he just stop the lightsaber rather than chopping Mace Windu's fucking hand off?
That's just a Star Wars theme,
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
fucking hell, think of it logically. He's like your master, you fucking dingbat.
All you need is Palpatine to just go, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but you can tell Palpatine's face is like, huh? Wait, what? Full power!
It's like everyone loses limbs in this.
Yeah.
This episode. It's like Dooku loses his hands, then his head. Mace Windu loses his hands. I mean, and then again, Anakin loses his limbs. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, just chop off a couple of legs here.
Lightsabers. That's what happens when you chop lightsabers in the mix.
Palpatine's got style. You must have a fair trial. Any questions, Rosen?
Well, I mean, this is kind of broad to the entire saga, I suppose. But if Darth Plagueis if he did feature in one of the movies, or several, how would you guys have tackled that?
The first one.
The first Phantom Menace.
In the first one, left out.
Have that background of Palpatine and Sidious. That would have been sick, actually. Watch him do the assassination.
Literally, just having Darth Plagueis turn up with Anakin, and then having Qui-Gon be like, "Who's that guy?" And it's like, "Oh, it's no one." And then it literally just gets left.
It's just
and then it's like a thing of, "Oh, I think he met you one time in Mos Eisley."
Oh.
And then there's like a time of when, because that would be cool in a sense of that you're not. It's kind of like, you're not showing to show's sake. If you're a fan and you're really into it, you'll notice that, and that rewards you in a sense.
Yeah,
That's how I.
It's planting a seed at the end.
Yeah, that's how I.
And to be fair, good movies do that. I think that's why we love the Marvel movies so much, because they tend to plant seeds like that.
Yeah,
Easily,
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, so I'm with George on that. Actually, if they did it in the first one, that would be
It
ideal.
made so much more sense as well.
Absolutely.
Think about it.
We'll be watching your career with much interest.
Fuck off! Bauer, any questions?
Yeah, I've got another one. If Anakin is like basically what George is saying when George is saying about Anakin going to Yoda and asking for help, like if you're like the head fucking thing at the Jedi Council and someone comes up to you saying like I've got feelings of pain, of anger and fear of death and stuff like that, surely you'll be there like I think your money's counselling, mate. I think we like need to take you under our wing a bit more rather than sending you to someone who we
Sending you off to
think
fucking war, yeah.
is like the dark side of the Force when they're all like saying, "Oh, the dark Force is surrounding Palpatine." Fucking get a hint.
It's true. It's like I'm having these visions. I feel confused. I'm losing my trust with the Force. Okay, we're going to send you the spy, the one guy who's making you feel all of this.
Exactly.
Yeah. To be fair, like the Jedi Council, do they not have Jedi counselors? like therapy.
That's a slogan by itself.
Jedi Council counsellors.
And then you can bring back like the female Yoda with a clipboard or something. Like, how does this make you feel?
Did anyone else just imagine Yoda with boobs?
Well, there is a Yoda.
We don't need to imagine that.
Yeah,
It's been done, man.
No one must ever know.
I got a question. Who's actually in charge of the Republic during this whole war? Is it the Jedi Council or is it Palpatine?
Palpatine.
Well,
Yeah,
Palpatine.
But
to be fair, though,
Palpatine
he's given emergency
power.
Wasn't that in the second one though?
Yeah.
Or so that's a continuation.
Yeah.
It continues over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it's like,
How long did they give him emergency power though? Surely they would have just given him the role by then.
yeah, surely, yeah.
A bit weird, isn't it?
But it's weird. It's like there's this one scene where like the Council are almost plotting against Palpatine because they don't trust him.
Mm.
It's like, oh, Palpatine wants you to do this, and they're like, no, we won't do that. We'll do it our way. I was like, bitch, who's in charge?
Well, fair. I mean, the Jedi Council almost. I can see why Palpatine played that.
Yeah.
Because he's like, well, actually, they're calling the shots here.
Yeah, it plays so well to manipulate Anakin. It's like they're trying to overthrow.
Yeah.
They're trying to overthrow the Republic, and from the outsider's point of view, yeah, it does massively look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is it. This is why everyone was cheering when Palpatine was in, like, saying we got rid of the Jedi and everything like that. Everyone's, cause obviously he's been telling everyone what the Jedi Council have been doing, like going back on his word and blah blah blah.
That's
So
the crazy
everyone's
thing, though. Is just like
clapping
the
and everything
Jedi
like that.
has always been surrounded by positivity, by myths, and all that. As far as I'm aware, at least in the movies.
It's like even saying, I know we keep going back to it, but that Yoda Anakin talk is that Anakin says like, "Oh, I've got like premonitions of the future,"
Yeah.
and Yoda literally just says like, "Oh, you just shouldn't do that
Yeah.
because it leads to the dark side," and it's just like, what? Like I can't stop
help
it. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Dream. Stop it.
To be fair, though, like, is this Yoda who's still learning? And then when it comes to the original trilogy, he is Mr. Wise because he's learned from all his mistakes.
Mate, he's like 600 years old.
Don't get me wrong. The man should have, like, given up the bowl or whatever by that point.
But like, it does seem like he kind of literally just dismisses his emotions. It's very similar to a lot of films like nowadays. Is that if like a strong man character can't have like feelings or emotions because that is seen as weak, and then you can get and wrong stuff can happen because you're like you're not in the right mind. But it seems weird that it's kind of a way. It's like a reflection of like real life, that the sense of that because you're a man, no, you're not supposed to think of anything, just get on with it. And that is eventually going to get to a point where you're just going to get so enraged that you're just going to lash out at everyone.
I've got another question.
Shoot.
Why did everyone think he could go 1-to-1 in hand-to-hand combat with Grievous? When he's fighting him, he just punches him. He's like, "Ow!" It's like, no fucking shit.
He also kicks him.
Yeah. It's like, why would you do that? It's fucking made of metal.
He's obviously the wisest.
He was the best man for the job.
Yeah.
Well, he saw Grievous dent the ships. He was like, "Oh, I'll take my chances."
Oh, use a force punch. Oh shit, doesn't work.
I'll just dent my own leg.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shall we move on to the baddie bads?
Yeah.
The baddie bads of the film.
The
Yeah, I think I've got quite a few, George.
Oh god.
I've got quite a few.
Okay. Just lay them on my door.
George, do you want me to grab you another bit?
Who would like to go first?
I think Bauer should.
All right then. Basically. So you know when they're
the table.
when they turn up, after the scene with the lift at the beginning when they kill Dooku and they're saving Chancellor Palpatine, and they're running through that corridor, and then they get that what's it called? Ray shield.
The ray shield.
Oh,
yeah.
Why have they used that like every fucking time in every fucking film? What's fucking wrong with these writers?
That is a very good shout, actually. That's a really good
Like,
shout.
it stopped them in their tracks. Fucking 2 Jedi, and then it's like...
We're smarter than this.
and it's like, fucking hell.
Yeah, it really sounds like I just keep sticking up for this fucking film.
That's just why you're here,
But
mate.
in a deleted scene, apparently they go through a shaft that eventually leads through like a pool or something, and there's like an electric. You can see it on the DVD release. So
Podcast is not
basically there's like pylons and water, and the idea is that if they get through that, then they can get to the ships easier, and then eventually they go through all of that, and they come out of a vent, and Grievous is waiting for him. So that's how then it takes to a part where they've captured them and takes the lightsabers. But because they got rid of that scene, I just don't think they had an idea of how to get them captured without showing Grievous.
Well, to be fair, then, the negativity was almost warranted because that should have been deleted.
Yeah, it seems a weird thing to be like. It's like a get out of jail card, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just got captured.
Yeah, but as Barry rightly said, I mean, how did they not use this technology or use it? They're always about big death weapons in the sequel trilogy and the original. It's just like make a giant one. We've got your world captive, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, think of the hordes of people that get in like hangars. Just put it in the hangar, get everyone trapped, get all your forces around everyone, be like, right, everyone ready? Yep, right. Bang, 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 dead. War done.
Oh, it's like, obviously Palpatine's pulling the strings in the background, and obviously he doesn't want Anakin to die. He just wants to capture them, make a point in front of him.
I'll have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful.
That's what he said.
More sexy.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
all the times
longer.
before, why haven't they used
It could have been
without
more-
Palpatine being there?
It could have been more creative in catching him.
Yeah.
That whole scene, when they crash land the ship,
Yeah.
then Obi-Wan goes, another happy land.
Yes, the cheesy lines in it.
cheesy lines.
Yeah, but
It's great. though.
Obi-Wan has loads of
No,
those
so
for
many
that
cheese.
entire
Yes, he
film.
does.
That's not the point I want to make. The point I want to make, did you see Palpatine's face as they coming down? Like the general, the first time I've seen him scared, like, I did not plan for this. I thought it would have been a smooth ship.
No, but that's
down.
like the same when the ship levels itself out when
Yeah.
they're running down the elevator, and he just grabs his fucking leg.
Yeah. And they all fall through at the end.
You
Like,
think at that point he'd be like, I'm gonna die. Like I'm Insidious.
To be fair, though, he was this massive dark power. Could he have wiped out Kenobi in some way at that point
Well, that's
and made it look like an accident?
that's what he says. Like, I'll leave him, doesn't he?
He tries to.
Yeah, but
I
mean, he's just like Obi's slung over Anakin's shoulder. As Anakin's looking at him, he could just be like, whack.
I hate that bit as well when Dooku flies Obi-Wan, and he hits the barrier and he falls on the ground.
Barrier
Yeah,
falls
yeah.
And then the barrier falls on him, and it looks like it should like cripple him.
Yeah.
It should crush his legs.
It
But
literally does.
It just
level his
it
legs,
literally
yeah.
like pushes him forward.
Yeah.
That's
That's
like,
just the CGI, wasn't it?
It's
Yeah.
really weird that.
oh, it looks so weird.
I just thought that Obi-Wan was too weak during that scene against Dooku.
I love that. Yeah, when Palpatine's like, "You're no match for him. He's a Sith Lord." He's like, "Chancellor,
That's our specialty.
Sith Lords is our speciality." It's like, bitch, he nearly killed you in the second film.
I mean, also when Anakin says to Dooku that he's doubled in strength, so you would have thought Obi would have increased.
Yeah,
his
you
strength
would
as well.
get the classic.
To be fair,
Disney
though,
Not the
vibe.
chosen one.
He's
Don't
exactly
forget
it.
this.
It's not the chosen
one.
It's not the Kenobi show. Double the.
No, it's like
Double the power, double the.
it's something like that. It's like twice, double the
Twice the pride, double the fall.
No.
Yeah, that's it. I
It's
think
all
that was
around
it.
it.
Oh, is it?
No, it
Double
was
the
that way.
twice.
It was that way.
Yeah.
Double the pride, twice the fall.
Do you know,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
literally had the script. Come back to me.
Any other bad bits?
Yeah.
Wilsman? C-3PO.
He didn't add a lot in this.
He might as well have not been in it, Really.
No,
I mean, it was George was really jacking over R2 in this one.
That's true.
Do you want to know the actual line from the movie?
go
Go
on.
on.
Do it.
So he said, "Oh no."
Have you lost
I
it?
remember that.
I've literally
Oh,
just
no!
lost it. Oh no! Get back to me.
You know the audience is shouting it as we're trying to figure it out. So C3PO.
C3PO is just, he is one of the iconic cast. Why was he? If you found
Shout
it,
it.
if you
I
found
am
it,
genuinely
go on,
finding it.
go on.
So he goes. So he goes. I've been looking forward to this. My powers have doubled since last time we met, Count. And then he says, "Good, twice the pride, double the fall."
That's it, Pride.
Yeah.
And then he says, "I said, good for you, Skywalker."
It's like Christopher Lee came back.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, back to C3PO. For his amazing Oscar-winning comedic role in Attack of the Clones, he did nothing in this.
No.
And it also explains my point more, like why is C3PO in the whole prequel trilogy?
I'm
shouldn't
actually
have
starting
to.
to side with you. The more we go through the movies, I am starting to side with you.
Yeah.
I was dead against that at first because I was like, Anakin made him. It shows his engineering capabilities. It's great. It makes perfect sense.
Because Darth Vader was never known for his engineering.
Yes, he was.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
To be fair, it's the expanded law. So maybe it's something we shouldn't be commenting on too much. But
Yeah, you got to have that one.
Why don't you just trap him in a ray shield?
You activated my trap card.
well, to be fair, so obviously we had Anakin as an engineer type when he was working in the shop
Yeah.
as a slave. But as he grew up into Lord Vader and so on and so forth, he would often spend time in the castle, Vader's castle, doing
his suit.
he modding the suit and his
Lightsaber?
no, his ship. What's
Oh,
TIE fighter? His TIE
yeah.
fighter, modifying that and all that. So
I'll give
he
you
is a
that.
well-known engineer, possibly outside the law more so. But my point was.
C3POs.
What was my point? I agree with you.
What I think,
That was a long way. That was such a long-winded way to agree to you.
I think the only reason 3PO was actually in it is just so you can see his and R2D2's friendship actually strengthen. That's the only reason I think.
But I wouldn't call it.
Yeah, but then he got his memory wiped.
Not like
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah,
that.
but at the end of the fucking
Yeah, so
It's
what's
not.
the point?
It's not like they broke up.
yeah, but he got it back in the end, didn't he? So.
No, he got it wiped at the end. At the end of this
At the end of
film-
episode 3, because he says, Bail Organa says, no, and then wipe the protocol's droid memory.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want anyone to know that Princess
That's why-
Leia is Princess Leia.
That's why when he sees Darth Vader, he's not like,
yeah.
that's Anakin Skywalker.
That's the guy who made me.
Right, yeah, fair shot.
So,
I don't know.
so
Oh, points
that's a
invalid.
good shout.
Yeah.
Jar Jar.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a line, just a present, right?
yeah, no, he's just looked
When
all
they're
sad.
when, I think,
At
wasn't he?
no, he looked
When
sad
they landed
in Padme's funeral.
but also when they landed in Coruscant when the ship came out.
Oh yeah,
I don't think George Lucas could afford to spend another check on the voice
Yeah.
actor.
Ahmed Best. Not was the worst. Bauer.
Oh god, I forgot. Well, Yoda seems so full of himself in this movie. I mean,
He's shit.
it really pisses me off because you watch episode 4, 5, and 6, and he just seems really happy-go-lucky kind of.
Sorry, I just got to correct you as a Star Wars fan. And he was
not in it.
Is it not? Maybe not. But 5 and 6, shut the fuck up. But right, so basically, wait, what?
No, don't worry. No, I'm also getting confused.
He wasn't in A New Hope.
I thought he died in Empire, but it was Return.
No, it was Return.
Yeah,
I'm going to shut the
Right,
fuck up.
anyway. He
Sometimes
seems
I
so
feel like it's
happy.
just me and you, George.
He seems so happy-go-lucky, and then suddenly you go to these films, and he's like, more training you must do. Not thinking about anyone else's feelings or anything like that. It's like, Anakin's there, how about, Palpatine wanted me to do the mission, actually, and he's there,
Nah.
someone more experienced we need.
Yeah, completely
Obi-Wan, I
pies him. His first day on the council, completely pies him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've been here since I was a young'un. You don't listen. You listen to what I say, not you.
To be fair, all I'm hearing is that they created Darth Vader.
Pretty much. They created
they
it
did.
from without them knowing.
And that was not meant to be the intention
No.
at all in the scripts. At all. And they did.
Or maybe it was. Maybe it was them pushing him away and then Palpatine getting him on this side, and then that was it.
Oh,
Going back to your point, remember in episode 2 when they're doing the kid training, and the kid is like, maybe they deleted it from the archives, and Yoda's like, oh, the wonders of a young mind.
Yeah.
Literally, a couple of years later, Anakin's like, Yoda, I need some help. Shut the fuck up!
I don't need this bullshit.
I don't reckon Anakin killed younglings. It was just fucking Yoda.
Yeah.
He was like, I gotta cover up my secret.
Can I say something again?
Andrew.
The big one. Hayden Christensen's acting.
What?
Oh,
I thought that was
much
better.
better.
No,
It was
yeah.
so
I
much
think
It was better,
this
but
is,
it was still
so
bad.
I
much
think this
better
is
too.
his strongest.
This is the
film.
strongest
It was still
By far.
bad though.
But
It's
Only in certain places.
It's like what you said earlier. Him being silent was the best thing.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah,
when
but
he's reacting off other people,
what I personally feel is that his facial acting is just as good as what his potential, I think, script acting could be. But it's the script that's the issue. It's not necessarily Hayden Christensen.
no. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. You try and act that out, Ange.
Okay.
No, you can't. No one can act out that script. Don't like it.
And I think just the thing with him and Padme, they just seem so awkward together, and that's why I think it seemed really awkward, his acting, like because they were both together. Like she's like, but Annie, and he's there like,
To be fair, is George married? George Lucas.
No, they got divorced
I'm not.
after Return of... No,
I
not
wonder
you.
why!
No, they got divorced after Return of the Jedi, I think.
Yeah,
George, if you picked it up, from my point of view, you haven't picked it up.
Bravo, George. Bravo.
That was good.
George, can you take out the trash? I hate trash.
So trash.
It's so coarse and rough.
George, can you take out the trash? Why are you taking me out?
So, no, I'm sorry, Ange. I didn't think it... Yeah, it was bad, but I don't think he could have prevented that.
No.
Yeah.
Sit down.
That was fast.
Can I say my bad point?
Go on.
I really, 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 really cringe when Obi-Wan and Anakin at the end have that fucking hand-to-hand thing.
Well, the Force
It's
push.
supposed to be the idea of that they're both using the Force against each other. I just every time I watch it, I'm just like, this is
Well,
just
when they're
too
like,
close.
yeah.
But
It looks like they're trying to make each other crap their own
yeah,
pants.
like my hand's bigger. From my
Oh
point
mate,
of view, I'm like,
if I made Star Wars, if they were going to force push each other, I want to see like a crack within the table,
Oh.
or like
Yeah,
all the
it's like
screen
all
starts
the
smashing
CGI.
up.
Yeah.
All the CGI, and they're just literally
yeah,
ooh, putting constipation faces at each other.
it's just the Force is weird in that film. It's like I said in the last one, when Obi-Wan looks like he's trying to push a door open.
Yeah, it looks like that.
It's not the Force, George. It's little microscopic creatures, remember?
Oh, well, I'm bloody sorry.
Do you remember
From my point of view, it's a push.
Do you remember when Obi-Wan sneaks on Padme's ship, and then he's like, with his fingers, he's like, and then the door's like,
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
What?
and really late. Like every time I see that, I'm like,
Was there any need? You could just push the button to close it.
oh no, not that. It's just the fact that like it was so delayed. It was there like.
I felt like I was wondering what version of Star Wars you were watching. He's like got on the ship, snuck on, and used his fingers.
It took forever to happen.
I've got another bad point. Go on. when fighting Obi-Wan, like, I think everyone's probably come to this fucking conclusion, but when Anakin, like, well, Obi-Wan's like, I've got the high ground, How about I just jump on the edge of the lava rather than jumping over someone with a fucking lightsaber who's going to chop me in half? Like, you could just be like, I got you now.
For people that aren't watching,
I know.
I just-
you have to remember that
Bauer just did a tiny jump.
I just jumped to the side like Anakin should have done, but he's been a cocky cunt. And
I like the way you're talking to the laptop, like the audience living there.
do you ever play the game at the end? When
Yeah.
you get to the last level, he does actually jump over him.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you're a 12-year-old kid, you're like, why don't you just do that in the film?
It's like, during that game, did you see the alternate version?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it jumps over and actually kills Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And then kills Palpatine.
That's so dumb in there, because
Yeah.
everyone just misses. And it just looks like, well, Master has missed.
How come he didn't force pull him down the bank?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably a very...
I can tell you why, actually. Because George Lucas wrote himself in a fucking corner.
You're not wrong.
But it was cool. I think, like, I don't like that whole end fight, but it was cool to see him get sliced up and then burnt alive. As cool as... I'm trying to make it sound cooler than seeing someone being charcoaled to death.
I was going to say, you sound like a roast.
I sound like a maniac.
Yeah, but it's true.
It sounds, do you know what? In the novel of it, it sounds a lot
Brutal.
So, obviously, because it's like using your imagination, but it sounds wicked compared to how it is in the film.
Yeah,
Because it's like his flesh chars as his mind sears, and it's like, ooh. I
Damn.
know, and you're like, damn, that's some writing.
Yeah, you can tell Lucas. did
rather
that.
than just like Hayden going.
Without kissing out, I didn't realise how much of a fan you were, though, mate. Like, you read all the. Did you read all the prequel novels or just the novel? Of
No, honestly,
Just this film.
honestly, yeah, it's just his revenge. That's it. Like, it's just mad. But it's like, but if we're going to go more into this, it's probably going to be a thing where people think, oh, fuck that guy! Because I watched all the prequels before I saw the original trilogy.
No, you're one of them.
Seriously, I am.
Wow, that's
Really?
So then did it blow your mind, the original trilogy then in comparison?
Well, the problem is when I was a kid, I just don't think I had enough patience for it. Because obviously you're like older films that This is a Star Wars podcast, but I'm going into something else. So I tried to like when Peter Jackson's King Kong came out, 2012, amazing. No, not 2012, like 2006, 2000. It's 2005, I think it is actually.
Yeah.
Amazing, like I love that film to pieces. And then I watched the really old King Kong, the original, and I couldn't get through it because I just didn't have the patience for it. And then it's like you go through the prequels and not the originals rather, and now I watch them and now I so appreciate where they come from. But it's a thing because to me personally, like the prequels are massive on nostalgia because it was my first introduction into
That's
Star
your
Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, if I might ask, and before we segue too much, when was the click of the finger for you for the original trilogy? Like in your mind, where you be like, "Oh my god, this is great." Like as you just got older, you just rewatched it.
I think the problem how I look at it now is that the original trilogy is something that a guy has in the back of his mind, and it's an amazing story all the way through. Like it all links together, and the characters are really well, and all the stuff is wrapped up, and the character it's a really, really cool story. But the problem I have now with the prequels is they try to have so much explaining to do, which I personally thought I had more patience for when I was a kid because I was like, oh, it's all brand new to me. But I look back at it now and I'm like, you're talking so too much through this. If you have the same thing. But obviously
The kid me, I think, just looked at lightsaber fights and thought, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
That's what
I
got
don't
me
remember really paying attention to the political
it's kind of like, you remember when you had like the DVD and you just skip through all the scenes? Like when you first get it and you're like, I just want to see this part. Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, that's probably how I know more of like the deleted scenes and stuff. It's like episode 3, it's like, is my...
Because that's really interesting. Yeah, that's all you had to go on at that point.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, you get the whole, like, obviously when Darth Vader turns up at the end and you're like, fucking hell, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
But I was never a thing of like, he's really powerful now. I was just a thing of like, this is supposed to happen. Wow. And then you go through and then it's obviously all the different stuff, so...
I wish I'd done that though. I actually wish I'd done that side, like your side, because I mean, after seeing the originals, it's a bit like you go back and you know everything that's happening. So it's a bit like, right, okay, yeah, okay, I see where they're coming from.
I don't know, because it was always like how I found I always found Yoda a bit hard to deal with in the originals. Obviously, how wise he is and how he comes across the prequels, I'm like, shut up! Like, why can't you just say stuff? You know? But
it's funny how it's the complete opposite now, though.
Yeah.
It's just like,
well,
you're not what we know you as.
Well, the thing is obviously like the originals aged so much better to the prequels.
Oh,
you watch
already,
the prequels now and you're just like, why is that a thing? Like, I appreciate Ewan McGregor, but he's not exactly the greatest, you know,
No,
compared to
Alex Guinness.
No.
Once again, I think it's the script. It's just undercutting the actors.
Yeah, and it's like Harrison Ford is obviously because obviously the whole Harrison Ford thing in Princess Leia is like amazing to watch that romance like go through, and obviously there's loads of ups and downs. Mm-hmm. But for Anakin and Padme, it's just like, okay, she doesn't like him, now he does. Now they just both don't like each other.
And now they're married and boning.
Yeah, and it just seemed it seems forced, the Anakin and Padme stuff. But anyway, sorry, we'll go back to the Revenge of the Sith thing.
No, that's fine. I almost feel bad about talking about a bad point now. Which I will anyway.
Of course you will.
Every lightsaber fight I did not like. I think the one that I liked the most, I didn't even like the Dooku one. I didn't like any of them.
Was it so?
What you didn't like?
Break it apart then. Was
it
the speed of it? Was it the?
Let's break it down. So the Dooku, Anakin, and Obi-Wan fights, I thought they acted so cocky leading up to it, and then they get that ass handed to him. Mm-hmm. Well, Kenobi did. Anyway, but I did like Dooku's face when he's like, kill him, and then Dooku's face is like, you're on my side.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't say anything.
Yeah, well,
wait just a minute.
It's me.
Papa.
He's Darth City wrong. I was never really a fan on the 2-on-1 lightsaber fight. The Darth Maul is the exception because he's light, agile, and he has the double-bladed one. Mm-hmm. I just don't believe. Why can't one Jedi just block him, whereas the other one just goes in for the kill? I've never been. I don't know. I guess I just read too much into it, so I'm never a big fan of that.
No, I see where you're coming from. To be fair, man, I do.
And then the Grievous fight. General Grievous, I'm with you. He looks sick, but they execute him so poorly. Yeah. In this film, I hate the way he's coughing, he's wheezing. I hate the way. Yeah, I know why. Because have you ever watched the what's he called?
It's like a grenade blast or something.
No, it wasn't that Danikoski cartoon, the Clone Wars movie out in 2002. Danikoski, he also made Samurai Jack.
Yeah,
the 2D Clone Wars movie is very imagine Samurai Jack, but in the Star Wars universe,
right? Okay.
Where like Mace Windu literally takes out like 50,000 droids at once. Mm-hmm. Very Dynasty Warriors. That's the best way I can describe it. Just balls to the wall, over the top. Fantastic. Just turn off your mind. Pure action. Mm-hmm. And that's when Grievous got introduced, and it was when. Because the Clone Wars movie is like a selection of short films.
Didn't they release on like Toonami, but it wasn't
it was released
like the whole way through.
Yeah, they released like 20-minute segments, so it was like 4 different stories. And that's when Grievous got introduced. Who's the guy with the big forehead again? Mundi.
Ki-Adi
Mundi and like 5 other Jedi go to this like abandoned like robot tomb, like dome. Sorry.
Right.
And then Grievous doesn't even say a word. He just picks them off like kind of one by one. Then has a fat lightsaber fight, and he lays them to waste. But basically,
that's how the first part of it ends.
So he basically almost kills them all apart from Mundi. Doesn't even say a word. And then whilst he's escaping, Mace Windu uses the Force like. Try to pull him off, but then he hangs onto the ship, and that's what crushes his chest. Oh, so that's why Grievous has the cough.
Right.
So I understand why Grievous has the cough.
Surprising they didn't mention it, they probably hadn't planned it at that point, I suppose. Oh no, sorry, you say 2000? Yeah, so they, I'm surprised they didn't mention it just slightly, like maybe a quick matchup.
Your encounter with Windu,
Because I originally thought it was Cypher Diaz, because his blood gets transfused into General Grievous, and that's what gives him his cough.
Maybe I definitely know at the very end, you see him crush his chest and he coughs after that. So maybe it's a link between the two.
Does Clone Wars still count as
that still counts as canon? Yeah, that's official canon. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you'd think with the medicine they have in that universe that they would have actually healed that.
Cure his cough.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of a common cough, mate.
Yeah.
Smoker's cough, that's what it is.
You can have all the strepsils you want, mate. You can't get rid of it.
It's Christmas.
I can imagine the ads around like town of Coruscant though, just like, lose a limb, get a replacement.
Yeah, right.
Got a cough, you're fucked.
So like I said, Grievous looks fantastic. I like the way he's got 4 lightsabers, and I love his backstory of his planet was not saved by the Republic.
Yeah.
So he goes and hunts the Jedi who didn't save him.
He's like
That's fantastic. I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Of his race type.
Yeah, he's the last of his race, and so that's why he collects fallen Jedi's lightsabers.
Right.
But the whole fight between him and Grievous,
It's wasted, isn't it?
it's wasted. I know. It's just 4. How can one Jedi with 1 lightsaber, I don't care how powerful you are, can go up against a general with 4?
Thank you.
What I don't get is why didn't Mace say to Obi-Wan, "I'll come with"? Yeah. I know his weaknesses. I know the way he fights.
Yeah, exactly that.
So I'll come with. Yeah.
Or even 2 against 4 will have a better chance.
Oh yeah.
And I guess it'll look pleasing. And what's up with that weird close-up in Grievous's eyes, and then it cuts to Kenobi's eyes?
Yeah, it's just one of those moments.
It's just one of them weird prequel moments.
Maybe because the audience who didn't watch the Clone Wars didn't actually. Oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the Clone Wars. That's what it's just called.
Yeah. Maybe because they didn't watch that, they didn't know he is an actual alien. Maybe.
That's true, but at the same, but then if you're going to introduce him in the film, you need to do a good job at introducing him, whether you know his backstory or not.
That's true. It's like planting seeds again in a film, isn't it? Really, like you didn't even get a mention of him in like
the first 2.
No, not at all. And you think someone of that caliber who's gone up to leading a droid army would get at least a mention in those films, if you think about it. But,
well, because his inspiration for the concept is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But obviously through Darth Vader, you don't. I think it was they didn't want him to look too much like him, so
because then they'll take the big reveal away.
Yeah, so he's like half cyborg, half. I don't even know what it was.
Well, it's like an alien. It's like an alien buggy.
You can see when you look at the eyes. Yeah, he's got a certain level of flesh to him, but I'm guessing as time's gone on, he's replaced himself. Right?
It's only the head and the organs, basically, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
I thought I was only guessing, to be fair, that he used to be more alien, but then he's replaced himself bit by bit. So when
his planet got destroyed, he woke up in a fax tube, and I think it was like RoboCop, when he's just literally lungs, heart, and his head.
Oh, okay.
And they built the droid body around him.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense to you.
Yeah. I like the way when Obi-Wan shoots him. I like his death. I like
that's gruesome. Gruesome.
Why did he have to say so uncivilized? I was like, bitch, that Glock saved your life.
It's just one of another
cheesy line.
It's another line.
It's another meme.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah.
So that's lightsaber fight 2. Darth Sidious v Yoda.
It would be Mace Windu versus Sidious.
Oh yeah. I like that one actually.
Yeah, because it's quite well choreographed, that one. Like when they went against each other, like when Sidious went that way and Mace Windu come towards the camera, it's like it's like a quick.
I think it's very well choreographed for 2 middle-aged men who don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Just tell me how to move and I'll move it.
In the back, behind the scenes, there's apparently a bit where Samuel L. Jackson just punches Ian McDermott. And he's like, I got him. I hit him.
I'll go back. That's the only good lightsaber fight. Only because Palpatine is such a meme.
Yeah. You've got like a guy who's done like old Shakespearean plays.
Yeah.
And now you're telling him to pretend to jump in the air and do front flips.
do a corkscrew.
Yeah.
So it's going to look like... Okay.
But it makes Windu look a lot powerful though, doesn't it, really?
Well, he is meant to be like Yoda's number 2. He's meant to be the best.
Yeah.
seriously, you can go back and watch that scene. How Samuel Jackson nostrils flare during that bit. He's like, "Oh no, you didn't."
You lose. Going back to Palpatine versus Yoda, you guys know my opinion on Yoda having a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Never liked it.
No.
I definitely don't like Palpatine having a lightsaber. I just think he should be so powerful he doesn't need it.
Doesn't need one.
Like you said in the last one about
Yeah.
Yoda being so powerful, he shouldn't.
Exactly. I
So
like.
what opposite parallels of the light and the dark?
Yeah,
then?
exactly. So I like when Palpatine was chucking fucking chairs.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I was like,
That's
yes,
good, yeah.
more of that.
Yeah,
more of that.
yeah.
Less of Yoda than fucking flips and Palpatine just going, yeah.
Literally standing in one place, just like spinning around.
Yeah, it's quite. I thought it was very stagnant.
But I'm sure that's down to George though. Say if someone were to redo the prequels these days, I'm sure would be the route that they would take.
Yeah, give me a sick force battle.
Mm.
Just a sick force
Sick
battle.
force battle.
I did like the
Yeah.
entrance of Yoda though. I've got to admit.
Oh, when he
Like,
just
he just
fucking-
walks through a door, he's like, "Oops," and like knocks them
Bang.
two out, and he's like,
Yeah.
whatever he says after that.
Guess I fucked them up.
Yeah.
Fuck
them up, I did.
Then going towards the big one. Did you say you already liked the Obi-Wan
I did.
Anakin fight?
I did,
You
yeah.
did.
I really liked it.
What did you like about it?
It being really well choreographed, and especially the ending where he cuts off Anakin's limbs and gives up pure emotions like, "You were like my brother, Anakin. You were the chosen one."
I gotta say, that was great
Destroy
acting.
the
Yeah.
Sith, not join them.
I think
Yeah.
the only part
I hate you.
the only part I liked about that battle was when they were on that weird thing that was going through the river and his
Through
about
the-
to go down
Yeah,
the
the
waterfall.
magma
And then they had to
lava.
literally swing off and stuff like that. But then after that, they were both staring at each other with like.
Well, the thing with that, how I see it, is like, it's what you see in some battles. You wait for that moment of opportunity. It's like you wait for a listen to like a tiny piece of stone fall, and then you go. It's like just waiting for that pure moment.
I just thought.
That's how I see it.
No, I just thought this whole fight was just so over the top.
What, the Anakin?
Anakin and Obi-Wan, yeah.
Some of it was. I think
Well, I
when they
mean,
did that
it's-
weird saber,
Yeah,
it was
but
like a charger.
Oh
When
that
they're
was
swinging their
a bit-
lightsabers.
It's supposed to be, isn't it? It's like the climax of the prequels, isn't it? That's supposed to be.
I know, but I just thought it was too over the top. Like when they were in the control room, yeah, that's fine. That's very self-contained sort of thing. And then they lost their lightsabers, so they started kicking and punching each other. You can add raw emotion to that. You can have shit sparking off. You can have glass smashing.
What about the bit when he it sounds really weird saying it, but when Anakin's on top of him and he's trying to push his lightsaber.
Oh, trying to push the
yeah,
lightsaber
yeah.
down.
Oh yeah, where he's bending him backwards.
Yeah.
That makes it sound
That
better.
makes it sound worse. But yeah.
Then he got his leg over.
Oh yeah. To make it sound worse, when Anakin chokes him.
Yeah. well, he's supposed to be getting to a climax.
Yeah.
You were my brother, Anakin. Stop.
Oh no. PG.
But then I was the whole room, when they're in the room, that was really self-contained. But
Yeah.
when they started going off into the lava, that giant pole thing, and they were hanging off it, you just see them swatting at each other. Then they start Tarzaning, going zoom,
That bit
zoom.
is
So weird.
so
Yeah.
shit.
And then they go on the two robots hovering over the lava. They
Platforms.
just they just
One's a platform, one's an
one's an actual droid,
yeah.
and they're just staring at
Now
each
one
other.
guy's working. What
That's
the
what I
fuck?
mean. That's what I mean when they both just stood there
Yeah.
they're literally distance away from swiping each other, but they just stood there
I know. I just thought once they entered the whole lava bit, it's just this is just getting silly now. I think
Yeah.
you made your point.
I think the original trilogy did lightsabers battles better because it was very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Always, you felt the tension that they're round the corner right this second, rather than this big open plain. It was like they were fighting on a rugby field,
Yeah.
which doesn't necessarily. I mean, it does work, but it doesn't work.
No.
I think claustrophobic is always going to be better for lightsaber battles. Always.
Well, talking about claustrophobic, do you remember the part when they're going through that little hallway bit? And they were hitting the sides when
hitting
they were
the
fighting,
sides,
the
yeah.
sparks going
Yeah.
off. I like that bit.
That's
yeah,
it. It's like I said, when they were in the control room, very well done.
Yeah.
But I was when they're swinging at each other, I was okay, you've made your point, get to it.
Yeah.
You've kind of lost me now.
Do you know what I get really annoyed about with that fight scene?
What?
You know when Obi-Wan kind of he's pretty much just like, I've got the high ground, I win, you can't win.
Yeah.
Isn't that exactly what happened in like episode 1?
Yeah, with Darth Maul.
With Darth Maul,
Yeah.
he's like, he's got the high ground, I've got the high ground, you can't win, and he wins.
I guess you can kind of episode 1 gives it away because he's literally at Darth Maul's feet.
Yeah.
Whereas Obi-Wan has to do like an Olympic free sprint jump, has to do a long jump to him.
Yeah. But it's just, I just remember thinking that. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't add up.
You're right, George wrote himself into a corner. I don't
He
think,
did.
unfortunately, he couldn't have fixed that, even if he tried, probably.
No.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
I-
Could
it's-
just jump on the side
Or
rather
did
than
it-
over Obi-Wan
did
and
a
then
rerun.
carry on the battle.
Can I add a bad point?
Yeah.
Which is more to do with the writing rather than the actual film.
Go on.
You know, at the end when like they're all trying to figure out what's going to happen with the babies and each other, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, "Okay, I'll take the girl, and the boy's just going to get fucked off. Like, it's going to be a."
I love
vomit.
that. Yeah.
This one's royal, this one's a
Yeah.
sand pig.
And
Yeah.
then Yoda just turns around and says, "I'm going to go into exile," which completely ruins the point in going into exile.
Yeah.
Because he tells everyone.
Can I add to that point though as well? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I understand why they gave Luke to. I can't remember.
Oh,
what
who
it's
do they
now,
give?
but-
Yeah, who do they give Luke?
What's their name?
Uncle Owen and Uncle
That's it.
Owen.
Okudo. Oh yeah, that's it.
It's my uncle.
It wasn't Owen, was it? I'm pretty
It
sure
was
it
Uncle
I'm
Owen.
pretty sure it was his Anakin's stepbrother.
Yeah, but
That's
that's
it,
technically
Yeah.
it. But in the original films, they say Uncle Owen and
Yeah.
Farouk.
Yeah.
It's too far.
But I understand why they gave him to Owen and that, but I don't see why Obi-Wan left it so late. This is going to New Hope, by the way. Why he left it so late to actually go and train Luke? Well, surely you would go back when he's about 11, 12 again and be like...
I know that happens in some comics.
I don't know, the old man approaching. Hey, little
but
boy,
then-
you want to get trained?
Yeah, but Uncle Owen...
I can't wait. I need you now. He's like, fuck.
I guess the whole point was they don't want Luke to know his past. So Obi-Wan swore to himself, I would not reveal his past.
Yeah, but you don't have to tell him his past. Just be like, oh, you've got powers. I'll train you. There you go.
Shut up. I think what you just swore, we just said, you made it sound worse. I've got something, you got something inside you I need.
Yeah, but Uncle Owen... Owen and that obviously know who the fuck Obi-Wan is. It's like, they're not going to forget his... Who the fuck is that? It's a Jedi. I recognise that guy.
Sam, bring some water back to this.
There is a point in the new Marvel comics where Obi-Wan's looking over Luke.
New Marvel?
Yeah, the new Star Wars Marvel.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
He's been with Marvel for a while now.
It's been with Marvel since 2015, I think.
I'll do
Yeah.
it.
But no, it's like so there's been times where Obi-Wan has been watching over Luke on Tatooine, and he literally approaches Uncle Owen. I don't think to say, can I train him? I think Luke got kidnapped by Sand people, but he saves him. He brings Luke back,
Right.
and then Uncle Owen's like he can choose his own life. Maybe he doesn't want to be a Jedi because obviously he's got Uncle Owen's got an opinion of the fucking Jedi ruined my family. The Force ruined my family. So it's like, let Luke decide for himself. So that's and Obi-Wan was respectful of that.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like Luke gets told about that though, does he? Or
No, well, he gets told when he
meets Obi-Wan. I
when he
guess.
meets Obi-Wan, yeah, because that's when Princess Leia gets kidnapped.
Well, to be
Yeah,
fair,
yeah,
Luke gets thrust into the situation.
Well, yeah,
really,
that's
doesn't
it.
he?
Yeah,
So he's-
Princess Leia, he gets a message from Leia saying, "I've been kidnapped."
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when Obi-Wan goes, "Well, time to come out of retirement."
Pretty much, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. But
I do understand
late.
I do understand your point though, George. When Mr. Organa of Odoron's like, me and my wife always wanted to adopt a daughter. I was just waiting for Yoda to turn around and go, "What about a boy?"
yeah,
And he
yeah.
goes, like, "Nah."
I like boys.
So, anything else? Any other points we would like to raise?
I think I'm good.
Do you know how Newt Gunray doesn't sound anything like he does in episode 1?
No, yeah, I noticed they toned down.
Yeah, I noticed they got rid of the racial stereotype.
Oh, yeah, so I know. So sorry. It's like, oh, this is bad, man.
Hey, maybe we should sort this.
He sounded,
Didn't go Australian.
no, he sounded like a typical like American bank worker. Hi,
Leveling out.
you promised we'll be safe.
Oh no.
I don't think I've got anything else to add.
I
To it?
I think that's it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh no! Well, one more thing. Padme, when the nurse droid's like, well, health-wise, yeah, she's great, tickety boo, but she's dying of a
Broken heart.
broken heart. She's losing the will to live.
Fuck off.
I know. I'm just there like, grow up. Because I've honestly forgot that when I was rewatching it. I thought she died because like Anakin like crushed her.
That's what I
focus.
Yeah,
That's what I thought it was,
I was like, oh, you don't want to have a night with me then. But I didn't realise she's losing the will to live because she lost Anakin.
That's
So bad.
Don't get me wrong,
Having two kids, you'll think, oh, I'm having 2 kids. Maybe I should live. Like,
Yeah, maybe
you
I should
think?
live for my kids.
Yeah, yeah.
oh no, he's gone.
No, I'm losing it.
I think it would have been. Oh, this is going to sound really dark, but screw it. I mean, it is the dark side, whatever. She should have just, jumped off the building.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
What are you saying that?
I'm saying that like
bombshell,
she
fans.
was so torn up. She was that torn up. She's not just going to magically die.
You might as well have just said she wanted to jump in the friggin' lava.
Alright, Yoda.
I take everything back, Lucas. You did it perfectly compared to what we could have done.
Don't ever have the reins to me, man.
And see next, Padme jump off the tower.
Padme hands off Leia and Luke, turns around and runs for the cliff.
I know that sounds so
is
screwed
so
up. I know.
bad.
Just hear me out. I know how screwed up that
Justify
sounds.
this.
But are you telling me that she's dying of a broken heart is more realistic than she decides to off screen?
No, I would rather her die of a broken heart than admitting that she's a coward and a failure to her own children.
Well, she didn't have to. She did that in action.
Well, mate, if you want, you can make your film and you could just put in a cutscene of Gamora jumping off the cliff, and then you could be like, that's Padme.
Alright.
And on that note,
bombshell.
I swear I'm not a bad guy.
Are you sure? You sure I ain't gone to the dark side?
As well.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year, guys.
so is it going to be episode 4 next, or is it going to be Rogue One? Is it going to be Solo?
I think it should be The Mandalorian since
Oh
we
yeah,
have now
Mandalorian
completed
just
the
about to.
series.
Have you guys watched that yet?
I'm going to watch it soon.
Haven't
He's got
watched,
I can. Yeah.
haven't watched a tiny tad.
Oh, so good, man.
You need to.
It's so good.
You
I've
seriously
played
need to.
Star Wars Battle Hunt.
Battle Hunt?
Battle Hunt.
What's that one, George? I want to call
I've played Star Wars Bounty Hunter and tells enough about the Mandalorian.
Such a good game.
Great game.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
I
that?
haven't played it.
I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah,
Right.
it's been ages.
And on the next show, the Battlefront series throughout the years.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get me down.
Except for that PSP one that no one played.
We got a lot of content.
PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got nice fun content.
Yes.
So,
Jedi power battles on the
oh,
PS1.
classic. I love
What's
that.
that?
There they are.
That pod
Get
racing.
them.
Can't get enough of that pod
Yeah,
racing
that
as
pod
well.
racing game is
Wank. So I've been Mahoney.
I've been Wellsman.
I've been Bauer.
I've been Andrew.
I've been George from London.
No. No. No.